What's up guys, it's Chris V and I am breaking down this BTS shot for you. We've got a 10K, 5K, 5K, those are all Fresnels. Then we have a 5K Skypan, and then we have a 5K Fresnel over here. Off to the side is another 5K Skypan, and you can see our grate. So this is a custom made surface. You'll notice here's a short C-stand. You got your head right here. You've got your short C-stand arm going through the head, and then it's clamped on with like a number 1, or it looks like a number 2 spring clamp, and that's making this surface right here that we're putting the cocoa beans on. Spread them out, and then here is the camera package. This is a Flex 4K from Phantom, and then this is the Laowa probe lens, which is around, I think, a 14.3 or something. It's really dark, and that's why we need all these fixtures, because you need a lot of light when you're shooting 600 frames a second or so at an f14. Go a little wider on this shot. This is our 8-ball slider, and we have a underslung situation here, which means you're hanging the camera underneath the slider as opposed to on top of the slider. So this is a Sackler tripod head. This tennis ball right here, this is like a safety tennis ball. The whole point of this is to give yourself a little cushion and dampen it if you get like towards the end and maybe you're getting like sort of like a soft ease into it rather than bang hitting it really hard, you know, and having like an abrupt shake of the camera. So in this shot, you can kind of see the Fisher dolly. You've got some risers, you've got an extension coming out, and then it's attached to the slider here behind Donovan's head. You can't see it. There you go, you can kind of see it right here. That's where it's attached to the slider. So let's talk about this. We have our goalpost extra support situation here. So you got 2 C-stands, and using speed rail clamps and some speed rail, that is allowing us another support point for this slider. The reason why you want to do that sometimes is when you have a heavy payload. This camera right here, this camera with everything set up on it is probably around 25-30 pounds. So when you get to the end of this slider, it can sag. It'll like dip down, and that might give you some wobble or some shake in your shot, and you don't want that. And also, because your shot is so close to these cocoa beans, like, I mean, we're right over the top of these cocoa beans. Like, it's almost touching the cocoa beans. Like, so if the slider was to dip down, you could just run right into the cocoa beans and like totally ruin your shot, or you might even like jack up your lens, and you don't want that. So you can see same thing. We've got our big tungstens right here, and what those are doing is backlighting the steam, and they're also giving that little highlight edge to the cocoa beans themselves. So here's another angle. You can see the camera pushes forward over the cocoa beans. Here's the Skypan, here's the other Skypan, and here's our backlight fixtures that are just really banging light in there. And in this angle, something you couldn't see before is the shiny bead board, which is bouncing back and filling in the front. So that would be like this situation here, this kind of situation. The backlight is banging in these nice little highlights, and then obviously they have some shadow. So to lift that shadow, you're coming in there with the shiny board and just lifting it up, getting enough in there so you get some detail and it's not just black. This Ethernet cable right here allows me to set up a Wi-Fi router and communicate with the camera onto my phone. So I can control all the controls in this camera off camera remotely and not have to touch it, which is really important when you're gonna do a shot like this, because as you saw before, it's almost touching the cocoa beans, and if you're touching the camera physically with your hand at all, you could get a lot of camera shake, and nobody wants that because that could ruin your shot. If you guys found this useful, please like and subscribe, and drop any questions you have about this BTS or this specific shoot in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.